Welcome to the Atlantic Indie Roundabout here at CIOE 97.5 FM. I'm your host, Maurice O'Coin, and we are streaming live to the world at www.communityradio.ca. We are going to discuss and celebrate independent artists' music from all over the Atlantic region and beyond. Let's all get on the Atlantic Indie Roundabout right now.
In the back of a Lincoln, Mama was driving, Daddy was a drinking, and I was born with a rusted spoon in my mouth. So don't you tell me what I'm thinking. If we're gonna go down, I'll still be singing. But if I gotta go down, I go down swinging. Well, I don't know, maybe I'm just dreaming. But I got a brand new way of thinking. Don't go putting fancy words in my mouth, 'cause that won't stop a ship from sinking. Ain't gonna spend my whole life sleeping. 'Cause if I gotta go down, I go down swinging. Go down swinging. Good for another round. Go down swinging. Toe to toe and pound for pound. My body's sore and my ears are ringing. I'm not done till my heart stops beating. Don't be lighting fires around my house, 'cause the last of me is just wishful thinking. It's gonna hurt and leave you stinging. 'Cause if I gotta go down, I go down swinging. All right. My ears are ringing. Just you wait for what I'm bringing. I won't be wasting my time just to find out that going back to the beginning. Don't play to lose when I could be winning. If I gotta go down, I go down swinging. Ain't gonna spend my whole life dreaming. 'Cause if I gotta go down, I go down swinging. If I'm gonna go down, I'll still be singing. 'Cause if I gotta go down, I go down swinging. Go down swinging. That's right, go down swinging. Woo-hoo. Go down swinging. Go down swinging.
cabinet, I should let them go. How about tomorrow? I love the snow as it glistens. We're catching up in the kitchen, everyone I know caught up in the glow. Confetti all around, I'm counting down like 2, 1. There's nothing like New Year's, chance for better days. Cheers to the future, midnight smiles on your face, riding up as mistakes, opening sweet champagne. If we mess it all up, try again 12 months from here, 'cause there's nothing like New Year's. Whoa, whoa. I never paid much mind to Hallmark Valentine's. The 1st of July suits me just fine. There's something about a clean slate when I turn the calendar page, makes me believe in a brand new me. In my paper crowd, I'm counting down like 2, 1. There's nothing like New Year's, chance for better days. Cheers to the future, midnight smiles on your face, riding up as the states, opening sweet champagne. If we mess it all up, try again 12 months from here, 'cause there's nothing like New Year's. Whoa, whoa. Right on the edge, diving into whatever's ahead. There's nothing like New Year's, first better day. Cheers to the future that I'm going to create. Forget about past mistakes, open that sweet champagne. We mess it all up, try again 12 months from here, 'cause there's nothing like New Year's. Whoa, 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 yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Welcome to the Atlantic Indie Roundabout and our first show of 2022. I'd like to thank all of our listeners here at CIOE 97.5 for the great support in Season 1, and we're just getting started. Now, you just heard a brand new release from one of the hardest working acts on the East Coast these days, Jesse Patrick and Tyler Daniels. New Year's is the latest offering from these guys, and collaborating with Justin Mackey, who spent most of the fall of 2021 here in Halifax to gig, write, and record an album together before returning to Ontario for the holidays. The result is a stunning collection of 11 tunes recorded with producer Mark Howard and Jimmy Torres. That's set to release later this spring. Just before that, we heard the brand new release Go Down Swingin' by yours truly. That's the way I'm kicking off the new year, and yes, as is suggested by the song title, it really needs no explanation. It features the talents of Andy Lambert on bass, Ian O'Donnell on drums, Leith Fleming-Smith on organ, and a killer combination of Craig Root and John Campbell-John on guitars. And Scott Ferguson mixed and produced the song. Thanks everyone, it was a great team effort. And coming up next, we have one of the latest songs by another ridiculously hard-working East Coast act, Andre Petitpas and the Giants. This is Homesick. It features Christopher Thorne from Blind Melon on slide guitar, and it was recorded live off the floor at the Chalet Studio in Uxbridge, Ontario. Check it out, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Sorry in advance for all the mornings you roll over and I'm not there. Sorry in advance for all the dates I miss, the good night kiss, the love that seems distant. I feel a bit homesick. Give me something to get rid of it, and I want it all. give me something to get rid of it, and I want it all. I feel a bit tired, not really like myself. Is this what I want? I feel a bit homesick. Give me something to get rid of it. Is this what I want?
We'll be right back with the Atlantic Indie Roundabout here on CIOE 97.5 FM.
I miss all my friends. 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 I miss all my I miss all my white picket fences, Mercedes Benzes. Johnny says he'll call me back. Ain't no chance I'm buying that. Having drinks on Tuesday, Tuesdays run to Friday. Another round of vodka sodas, door is open, come on over. All my friends got a mortgage and some kids, got a labradoodle dog. Probably think there's something wrong with me. All my friends wake up when I go to bed. They keep canceling our plans. Won't somebody please hang out with me? I miss all my friends. I miss all my socials on weeknights, just doing what feels right. Got nothing but time to kill, yeah, that's probably why I'm still the life of the party. Creeping up on 30, old enough to know I shouldn't, but someone's gotta do it. All my friends got a mortgage and some kids, got a labradoodle dog. Probably think there's something wrong with me. All my friends wake up when I go to bed. They keep canceling our plans. Won't somebody please hang out with me? I miss all my friends. I miss all my friends. I miss all my friends. If there's something in your solo cup, Simon says bottoms up. Bottoms up. If there's nothing in your solo cup, Simon says fill it up. Fill it up. All my friends got a mortgage and some kids, got a labradoodle dog. Probably think there's something wrong with me. All my friends wake up when I go to bed. They keep canceling our plans. Won't somebody please hang out with me? I miss all my friends. 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 Wife of a serial killer doesn't necessarily know she's in love with a masked murderer. The wife of a serial killer doesn't necessarily know she's in love with a masked murderer. Every time he goes out at night, he's always got a story or an alibi. There doesn't seem to be any foul play, at least not too high. And if there's been a body in the car, he's gonna cover it up with lavender. If there were a home inspection now, they wouldn't find anything. 'Cause the wife of a serial killer doesn't necessarily know she's in love with a masked murderer. Yeah, the wife of a serial killer doesn't necessarily know she's in love with a masked murderer. But ever since the police came around, she's taken closer notice of the sound of his voice as he delivers his alibi.
serial killer doesn't necessarily know she's in love with a masked murderer. Yeah, the wife of a serial killer doesn't necessarily know she's in love with a masked murderer. In the yard, buried in the garden for years, she's never seen it.
Welcome back to the Atlantic Indie Roundabout, and you've just heard The Wife of a Serial Killer by Bill Travis, aka Mushcat. Bill's got several albums out and a lot of music available online. And we'll be featuring him and his cool, quirky music, that's hard to say, in an upcoming episode. And watch for it. Now, just before that, we've heard one of my favorite songs in the top 100 of the year at CIOE 97.5, hosted by Martin Hickey and Ron James just this past week. Recording artist and industry professional Dave Sampson's All My Friends, it hits it out of the park for me. You know we'll be tracking him down for a few minutes of his time here on the Roundabout soon. And finally, before we sit down with this week's guest, Keats Conlon, we're going to listen to another brand new release in collaboration. The classic Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain is interpreted and covered by Tony Trimper, Nova Scotia Music Award winner Tara Spencer, and Ryan Roberts. It's pretty awesome. We hope you're enjoying the Atlantic Indie Roundabout here at CIOE 97.5. And don't forget, we're streaming to the world at www.communityradio.ca. We'll be right back.
We'll stroll hand in hand. watch her star in heaven. And feel her crying in the rain. Eyes crying in the rain. Eyes crying in the rain.
We'll be right back with more of the Atlantic Indie Roundabout with me, your host, Maurice O'Coin.
Could have been a rich man sitting on a throne, or could have been a poor man trying to make it on his own. Could have been a wise man up upon a shelf. Could have been a simple man singing for himself. But of all the different lives that you could lead, and of all the different people you could be, would you still have room for me? Could have been a young man with his eyes still open wide, or could have been an old man too tired for his pride. Could have been a handsome man in a proper uptown flat. Could be the kind of man, don't worry about that. But of all the different lives that you could lead, and of all the different people you could be, would you still have room for me? Different lives that you could lead, and of all the different people you could be, would you still have room for me?
Well, here we are in the Roundabout with my lovely friend Keats Conlon, and I'll tell you, how long is it that we've known each other now? Probably about, must be 10 years now. If I'm coming to the Halifax Ale House, we're at our weekly gig, and we all found out that we could all sing and have fun together. And a few years later, you were in the band Casual Cries for Help. We're here to celebrate your music, but I would like to bring up Casual Cries for Help because the whole band is full of my friends too, and that's how I met you with Gino and Devis. And you guys have a terrific few songs, and we demoed one of the songs that became probably my favorite video that band has done. Is that band still working or producing music aside from what you were doing yourself?
Casual Cries for Help is still doing music as well. We've been working on some more songs. Just because of the pandemic, we weren't really booking shows, but we're kind of just amping back up to start doing things again. So, but while we were kind of taking a break, I was sort of doing some solo stuff. So that's kind of how it ended up happening.
How many tracks altogether are on the LP? Let's talk about the process of recording it, where it was done, I guess timelines and whatnot. So just so we can have an idea where we're coming from, because it blindsided me. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And when was it released?
So it was released actually. I released a single a month in like summer of 2020. So it was like, I think Cute came out in May. I think Only Distance was June, Lipstick Stains was July, and then I think I released the last two songs at once because they didn't have music videos with them. So that was Feathers, Currents, Skipping Stones, and Leave Room for Me were both released in August. And then I did a lot of promotion sort of when they first came out, and sent them to a lot of radio stations. I got a little piece in the Coast about the EP, which was awesome, called Pastel Portraits, which is the name of the full EP. And then the second year of the pandemic, there was just a bunch of stuff going on. My partner, Devis, got really sick, and then I got really sick. And so it's kind of one of those things where I was like, okay, I need to take a break. And so I'm sort of now trying to get back into it and trying to do shows and things again.
I'm glad you're both feeling better.
Yeah.
I was following your exploits. I realized that Devis was sick because, like I said, we're friends as well, and I knew when he was in the hospital he got quite ill, and I was worried about him. But he looks great. He was out a few weeks ago at one of my shows, and it was just great to see. Well, you guys were both out. It was fabulous, and I was really, really happy to see you guys. The videos, the first song, are cute. Why don't you enlighten us on the background of the song and how the video came about?
Yeah, well, so the song itself, like I said, it was the first song on the ukulele, and it just came from the feeling of, and like I wasn't sure if this was just a girl thing or if this was everybody in general, but I know some days when like I'm feeling really awful about myself or things are going wrong or whatever, I find if I just like put a little makeup on, put my favorite dress on, whatever, like I suddenly feel a little bit better. And I thought that was just kind of like a fun thing I had never heard sung about. So I just kind of wanted a song that could encapsulate that same feeling that you could maybe play when you're not having a great day. And so then that's how that song came about. And then as far as the music video goes, my little sister actually works for, fostering kittens in Windsor, Ontario. So I basically just reached out to the Humane Society there, asked if there were any kittens that were being fostered that would be okay with me putting them in a video. So I worked with them, and they were really awesome. And the kittens were so cute. Oh my gosh, what were their names? It was like Ron, Hermione, and Harry. They were named after the Harry Potter trio. And they were so cute. We had to coax them out. They were like really shy. So the first like hour of us filming was them like hiding behind things until they finally kind of got comfortable, and then we could get some really good shots.
I crashed my car into a tree and saw all of my enemies. Before the clock struck noon, all I had was glum and gloom. The sky was all fogged over, and I lost my four-leaf clover. But I won't sit and wallow, I know just how not to feel so hollow. Put my best makeup on and those pants that make my legs long. I know what I wanna do, I wanna feel cute. Ooh, today I wanna feel cute. I wanna feel cute. Today I wanna feel cute. I tore my last blue pillowcase and broke my best friend's favorite vase, but she said I broke her vase. Couldn't have been more at odds. My yogurt's all been spoiled and my blood has all but boiled. But I won't sit and stew, I know just how not to feel so blue. Put my favorite dress on and that hat with all the chiffon. I know what I wanna do, I wanna feel cute. Ooh, today I wanna feel cute. I wanna feel cute. Today I wanna feel cute. Problems disappear. There's plenty of different reasons to feel woe or to feel fear. But if there's just one thing that I can do to feel more fears, I wanna feel cute. Today I wanna feel cute. I wanna feel cute. Today I wanna feel cute. And feel a little more okay. La la la. no scorn and asked if I would share a loaf of bread. I welcomed him with open arms, for I had never known that harm until his interest in me had left. He flew away and I stood silent and bereft, and I was down and low and blue till I sighed and thought it through. Nests and pests and love and woe, well, they all must come and go, and so must you, and so must you. When I lived by the lake shore, a sparrow came and whistled at my door. He asked if I could spare some wine, told me we could pass the time with every story he had ever read. We laughed and sang the whole night through until the dawn shone bright and true, and he had had his fill of merriment. He flew away and I sat, laughs and smiles spent, and I was down and low and blue till I sighed and thought it through. Nests and pests and love and woe, well, they all must come and go, and so must you, and so must you. By the ocean waves, a raven kept me company most days. I told her tales of different homes, of feathers, currents, skipping stones. She listened with a modest interest. We spent our time along the sand. She often would leave for drier land until she had no reason to come back. She'd spent more time away than she'd been keeping track, and she was down and low and blue till she sighed and thought it through. Nests and pests and love and woe, well, they all must come and go, and so must you, and so must you, and so must you, and so must you.
We'll be right back with the Atlantic Indie Roundabout here on CIOE 97.5 FM. This is the Atlantic Indie Roundabout with me, your host, Maurice O'Coin. Now let's get back to the show.
Darling, it's past 3 and the liquor's got to me. Your hands are cold. I've got work at 10 and my head's spinning again from all the dancing and the drinking and your lips against my skin. Though your silhouette is stunning in the day, I wouldn't have it any other way. There's something about starlight and that misty ocean spray that takes my breath away. So keep holding me close, keep your heart beating on your sleeve, keep your courage to the sticking post and tell me when you leave. Dear, there's only distance between you and me. There's nothing but the distance that can come between you and me. Darling, I got you, and you know you've got to me. We're spinning gold. We stand out in a crowd, 'cause our voices are too loud, but we're singing the same key, and it's a pretty melody. And though the words can sometimes get lost in the fray, I wouldn't have it any other way. There's something about jumbled chords that we can barely play that takes my breath away. So keep holding me close, keep your heart beating on your sleeve, keep your courage to the sticking post, and tell me when you leave. Dear, there's only distance between you and me. There's nothing but the distance that can come between you and me. There's nothing but the miles to keep me from your side. There's nothing but the miles. There's nothing but the miles.
There's nothing but the distance that can come between you and me. There's nothing but the distance that can come between you and me. There's nothing but the distance that can come between you and me. There's nothing but the distance that can come.
So keep holding me close, keep your heart beating on your sleeve, keep your courage to the sticking post, and tell me when you leave. There's only distance between you and me. So keep holding me close, keep your heart beating on your sleeve, keep your courage to the sticking post, and tell me when you leave. Dear, there's only distance between you and me. There's nothing but the distance that can come between you and me.
Let's talk about the next song.
So the next one was Only Distance. And that one, again, was actually written before the pandemic, but, you know, ironically kind of fit with the pandemic quite well, where me and my partner Devis were going to be long distance for a while. So the song was just kind of about, like, you know what, nothing can come between us except for the actual physical miles that are going to be between us. So, and then the song just sort of evolved from there. And so, you know, when I released it, it was like smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. So I think it really resonated with a lot of people because of that. And we were all miles and miles away from, you know, even if it was only 10 miles down the road, but you couldn't see the person. So, you know, obviously the pandemic was awful, but in that one little way, it was like, okay, well, at least it kind of meshes with this song. And as far as the music video went, I just wanted sort of a creative way to show like many, many miles without actually having to go many, many miles. So the little dinosaurs was kind of like, okay, so now since they're so tiny, even like a little bit of space, that's going to be so, so far for them. And honestly, I just am absolutely in love with the East Coast scenery. So I also just really wanted an excuse to like film a lot of cool shots. Like we actually drove like from Halifax to Peggy's Cove and got a bunch of shots there. We went to Point Pleasant Park, Duncan's Cove, and just got like a bunch of really, really pretty shots. And also I would be crazy to not mention the fiddle on that song, which is incredible and was done by Josie Palmer, who's from Ashland, which is an incredible sister band. All the Palmers, they're all great. And I was lucky enough to work with her at some point at the Keats Brewery. And so we've been friends since then. And I was so, so happy that I could get Jennifer Fiddle on the song.
Ashland, that's a great group. It's nice to hang out with great musicians too. It makes you play your best and give your best as well. Let's move on to another song. I mean, you've got 3 videos now, and the third video is
Lipstick Stain.
Yeah, so that's a me time video.
The way I try to describe that song is like whispering into a lover's ear. Like it's supposed to be just you and me, like it's just small intimate moments, and that's kind of the idea of the song. And so that's why it's the most stripped down video, and it's just me and the guitar. And we have a friend who has a a really nice apartment sort of downtown Halifax that like looks out really nice and has that like corner window. So we just filmed there because I love doing the more produced songs with like all the instruments and everything. But I do also love having at least one song just the guitar, just the voice, just really focuses on like the lyrics and the sort of message of the song. And I actually have rain sound in that song. And the way I got the rain sound is I actually just recorded bacon cooking, and it's the exact same sound. Like, you cannot tell the difference.
It's a very classy video. I recommend that everybody watches it. And just for the people to understand that this show, after it's broadcast on CIOE, you'll be able to pick it up later on YouTube. And that's why I recommend that our listeners actually check out our shows. And we try to incorporate a lot of the guest videos on the show, and your artistic flair for your videos is really, really nice, and your videos are charming, and I'm a fan, and I'm so glad we got to talk about it. Yeah.
And I do have to just sort of give a shout out to Devis, my partner, and Michael Wolfhart, who's the other person. He actually did a lot of the filming, and Devis did a lot of the editing and directing, and actually Cute was shot by Gabrielle Smith, who's in Windsor. So I just wanted to make sure credit was given where credit was due.
I left lipstick stains along your back. Sorry about that. Those bright red hues help me relax and retract. I just needed some way to make my mark on your heart, but there's too much skin and flesh for that, so I used your back. I left muddy footprints on your floor after quite a downpour. Those slippery stains led me to you and the flu. I didn't have patience to undress or reflect, so I ran and fell right into you. Seemed the thing to do. Someday I just won't feel no more. What a bore. My fingerprints will fade to ash. They'll come too fast. But until then I'll reach for you till I'm cold and blue. And I'll keep leaving stains and marks till it all goes dark.
Here we are back in the Atlantic Indie Roundabout with Keats Conlon. It's been a pleasure having her on the show tonight. And your videos are lovely. Your songs are lovely. They're charming. I love your voice. I'm glad to see that you're getting some airplay. You must have some airplay in Ontario as well, in the stations up there, because you have fans up there as well.
I do, yeah. I'm lucky enough to, I really started doing my music in Windsor when I was living there. It's actually a great city for like indie music and stuff. And I have some contacts at like a lot of the local radio stations there, like PJam's the main one. I used to do interviews and stuff on there when I did like my very first CD called Letters to Anyone, and I did it all myself. And like some of the songs only come through on one ear, like it's so bad. But you know, it was my first one, and they were super supportive. And
we all have to start somewhere, and you did. So, well, let's talk about that for just a second. So you talk about your first project now. How many years ago would that have been?
That would have been, I think, in 2009. I don't know. It was like the last year of high school for me, I think.
I'm sure the music, in its lack of production, there's probably a lot of soul and there's a lot of charm in those songs. Do you still play any of those songs?
There's one called The Garden, which is it's similar to Lipstick Stains, where it's very stripped down. And it's just like finger picking. And so I really like that one, and I still play that one. And then there's one called Good Girls. And that one's a little more upbeat. Like, that's one I would actually love to re-record at some point and like really give the full production sort of treatment to it. Because that one I think still has a pretty good beat and a good heart. And so So those are the main two. The rest of them, I'm like, oh man, that was from high school. You know?
I get that. But you know what? That's the thing. The fact that a couple of songs did stick out and that you can still play them and be proud of them, that's wonderful. And it shows your maturity as you've gone along as a songwriter and an artist. What are we looking ahead to? Do you have any more plans to work with Casual Cries for Help? Or is it Keats Conlon like soldiering forth on her own?
The plan has kind of always been to do Casual Cries and my own stuff at the same time, because I always think of Casual Cries as like Devis's band that I get to like have fun and like do harmonies with, and like I don't have to take it too seriously, because he kind of takes care of the business end of that one. And then, you know, Keats Conlon, my solo stuff, is more where I get to be creative, like lyrically and things like that. Because for me, one of the most fun parts for me is writing lyrics and melody and that kind of thing. So, you know, so I have plans for both. Like I said, Casual Cries for Help, we're doing a lot of sort of like maintenance and tweaking on that right now. Keats Conlon, ideally, I'm going to try to do a more sort of toned down album, like still produce it and everything. But I have a lot of old songs that I've never recorded because they're a little slower. And I used to be afraid of like, oh, what if this won't have radio players? What if this won't have this or that? But like, I started to be like, you know what, I'm going to record what I love and I'm going to put it out there. And if people love it, awesome. And if not, like, you know what, I had a good time. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
You know, and I think you've earned that. You've got enough airplay. You've got enough traction that I think likely you could pretty well produce and record anything you would like. And I think people would stop and listen now. So you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a social media platform? Well, let us know how to get your music.
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, basically wherever you can download music, you should be able to find me there. It's just Keats Conlon, and that's my handle on everything. On Instagram, Facebook, if you search Keats Conlon, I'm the only one, which is great. So that's how you find me, as long as you can spell it, which is Keats, Keats, and Conlon, Conllon.
It's been a pleasure having you on tonight, and thank you so much for being on the show tonight. That was wonderful.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
We're not done yet. We'll be right back with more at the Atlantic Indie Roundabout here at CIOE 97.5 FM. Thanks for tuning in this week to the Atlantic Indie Roundabout with me, your host, Maurice Aucoin. Before we go, I'd like to once again say thanks to our on-air listeners, followers of our show online, and friends in our Facebook pages and groups. On behalf of CIOE, we really hope you enjoyed this next season as much as the last. We leave you now with a great song called Mysteria by Milo. Carmen Revolta is the genius behind all this, and he reached out to us and sent in his debut single. All I can say is, wow, I wish my debut single sounded as fantastic as this does. The production on it is spectacular. Now, if you're an indie recording artist and you have music that you'd like to promote, please reach out to us on our Atlantic Indie Roundabout Facebook group page. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And on that note, from our village to yours, Happy New Year, take care, stay safe, and good night.